Senator Lundin.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I request a moment of personal privilege.
Granted.
Thank you. Colleagues, if you pull out Mason's, the rules upon which our rules are based, you will discover that a moment of personal privilege is designed for something that edifies the body. We occasionally come down here and talk about things that edify ourselves. Today, in this moment of personal privilege, we are going to talk about something that edifies the body. You are all aware that soon we will be losing, not from this earth, but from this chamber and from this building, a dear friend, someone who has made an enormous difference in all of our lives and in the work that we have done. We have a tribute that we would like to offer today, but before we offer the tribute, I'd like to acknowledge that in the back corner of the room, Julie Pelegrin and her partner and husband, Paul, are with us here today. Mr. President, I would like to read the tribute. On the auspicious occasion of her retirement from the Office of Legislative Legal Services, the Colorado Senate and House of Representatives honors Julie Pelegrin and expresses its deep appreciation for 3 decades of contributions and dedicated service to the Colorado General Assembly. Julie began her distinguished legislative career in 1991 as a staff attorney. Her extraordinary writing skills and remarkable ability to transform legislators' ideas into law were immediately apparent. Those talents, coupled with her natural people skills and instinctive leadership style, made her a natural choice for a management position as a team leader and eventually deputy director of the OLLS. Despite her successes as an effective manager, creative problem solver, and seasoned expert on legislative rules and procedure, Julie's love remains drafting, and I would make a personal note, and Paul. She drafts in a myriad of areas, but has developed unparalleled expertise, and when I said and Paul, I meant her husband, although I'm sure she does have a fraternal love for me as well. She has developed unparalleled expertise in education law and is lauded as one of the state's experts in the field. Julie is the best example of what her colleagues call a super drafter. Over the years, Julie has mentored legions of OLLS employees, imparting her understanding of and respect for the legislative process and the complexities of drafting, and her love for the institution she takes pride in serving. She has taught countless continuing legal education classes, staff training sessions, national seminars, and college courses. Her love of teaching was tapped for new legislator training, which she leads on behalf of the OLLS for many years. An idea person, Julie's creative spirit and focus on member service led her to establish the Legal Services Buddy Program that pairs experienced OLLS attorneys with new legislators to help them navigate the complexities of the legislative environment. Julie developed and continues to oversee the publication of Legisource, a weekly legislative blog that provides timely and cogent information about the legislative process to members of the General Assembly, its staff, and the public. Julie also serves on the state's title board, where her insight, experience, and legal acuity have gained her the respect of her fellow board members. Julie has also been an active participant over the years in the National Conference of State Legislatures staff section, serving as staff chair on the Education Committee, co-chair of Research and Editorial, Legal and Committee Staff Association, and the vice chair of both the Legislative Effectiveness Committee and the Legal Services Staff Section. She was awarded the NCSL Legislative Staff Achievement Award in 2018 and the Legislative Education Staff Network Achievement Award in 2004. Over her stellar legislative career, Julie has abided by core values of nonpartisanship and personal integrity, while also maintaining her signature sense of humor and unflappable grace in the face of the challenges that overlay the experience of a nonpartisan staff career in the very partisan at times legislature. The members of the Colorado House and Senate honor and thank you, Julie, for your faithful service and immeasurable contributions to the Colorado General Assembly and to the people of the state of Colorado. We extend our best wishes on the occasion of your retirement. You will be greatly missed.
Senator Bridges. Thank you, Mr. President. I request a moment of personal privilege.
Granted.
The line in here in this tribute that sticks with me the most is the way that you take our ideas and turn them into legislation. Oftentimes we have pretty vague ideas. We know mostly what we want to accomplish, but education law is rich, probably the nice way of putting it. And you are so familiar with all the various different parts and pieces that I know when I come to you with an idea, when I have a concern about a different bill, when there's something that I need to get done and I don't know how to do it, I know for sure you're going to know exactly how to do it and do it in a way where I don't break the law. It is a unique skill, a unique gift. We have an incredible OLLS staff, but in my experience working with you, Julie, it is poetry on the page. And if you look at the very, very long 500-page bill that we just passed, to pull that together the way that you did, to have it read as clearly as it does, and it's not to say we didn't disagree here about various different parts of it, but we were very clear about what we were disagreeing on because of the work that you put into that. It makes our jobs and our lives so much easier because of your great, deep experience here. I love working with you. I love having you in the room. I love bouncing ideas off of you, and my hope is that we will continue to be able to do that piece, though in a different capacity. It is a loss to the state of Colorado that you are moving out of here, but Godspeed in your happiness beyond these walls.
Senator Lundin.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, I will be exceptionally and unusually brief. Julie Pelegrin, as you move on with your profession and your life, we wish you all the blessings that God can give you and Paul. There will be a gaping hole in this building and the work we do. There will be a gaping hole in at least one legislator's capacity as a legislator and in his heart. Thank you, Julie. Bless you, Paul. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Julie.
Senator Priola.
Thank you, Mr. President. Moment of personal privilege.
Granted.
Thank you. I too would like to stand in honor of Ms. Pelegrin and all she's done through the years as a member who sat on the Education Committee in the House and here in the Senate. I too understand the words and the meaning of super drafter and taking our ideas and turning them into law, because I've seen it firsthand. And she has shoes that I believe will never be fully filled in this body. So, Julie, you will be missed very much. Thank you.
Senator Fields.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm asking for a moment of personal privilege.
Granted.
Thank you. I too want to add to some of the comments that have made in honor and tribute of our dear Julie Pelegrin. She was my mentor when I first came into serving in this body. That was in 2011, and I was assigned a mentor in the office, and she was my mentor. And it didn't just stop at that 1 year. I continue to use her as a source of information, as a source of guidance, as a source of making sure that I would get this right for the people of Colorado. And she was very diligent, and she was very kind, and she was very patient with me. And for that, I am so very grateful. So when I said I was the last to know, because I had no idea, first of all, you were around for 30 years. That is a significant body of work that you have contributed to the state of Colorado, 30 years. When I think about today's generation, they may stay for a job for 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, but to have someone stay and do this work for 30 years is significant. And it really, truly demonstrates your love for law and your love for this institution, not only in the House, but in the Senate, as well as it relates to working with the governor's office, your other teammates. There's just so much that goes, there's so much that's involved in the work that you do. I want you to know that it has never gone unnoticed by me or anyone else We all know a gym when we see one, and we have one in you, and we know that all the work that we do down here as lawmakers and folks in your capacity, that we do it with the support of somebody at home, and that's your soulmate. So I want to thank you for allowing her to do this work, or in partnership with the work that she has done, because we put in a lot of long hours down here. And I know some people like me communicate in sound bites, but she's able to take that sound bite and put it into words that has crafted legislation for far too many of us. So I wish you all the best as you move on. I am going to miss you, but I do need another mentor. So help me with that one. Thank you so very much. All the best to you.
Senator Zenzinger.
Thank you, Mr. President. May I ask for a moment of personal privilege?
Granted.
So I also want to add my voice to the congratulations today, and there's not much more to add because I think my colleagues have captured it very, very well, but I do want to say thank you for making me look good because it really was your ideas, it was your artfulness, it was your ability to write really good bills and draft really good bills, and it's been a pleasure to work with you. I have really enjoyed getting to know you, and just wanted to say thank you so much for all of the hard work and effort that you have put in over the years. We truly, truly are going to miss you, Julie.
Senator Rankin.
Thank you, Mr. President. I really can't let this go without saying that I will never in my life forget in 2019 the READ Act bill. And sometimes we forget that the way these bills get crafted have so much impact on so many people. You know, we have roughly 1 million students, vast system of 178 school districts, and every word in a bill that impacts education is closely scrutinized and followed. Because of that bill in 19, which was cleverly crafted, 23,000 teachers that teach K-3 kids are being trained to teach reading and the new science of reading. It's making a significant difference for tens of thousands of kids. So, Julie, for your impact on our children, on our system, you know, not just helping us write bills, but what it means to the state and our education system. Thank you.
Minority Leader Holbert. Senator Gardner.
Thank you, Mr. President. Request a moment of personal privilege.
Granted.
Julie, I am without words when I think of you not being here. I don't know who is going to train new legislators when they won't know that they're being trained in such a wonderful, tactful, and caring way. I won't belabor the point, not typical of me. I'm just going to say it won't be the same.
Minority Leader Holbert.
Thank you, Mr. President. Request a moment of personal privilege.
Granted.
Thank you, Mr. President. When I was elected to the House in 2010, I had opportunity to visit with a legislator from a different state who had gained recognition for a particular bill that was passed in that state that found millions and millions of dollars of fraud in a particular government program. I took very careful notes, and as a representative-elect, made one of my first trips to the Office of Legislative Legal Services to share my grand idea. Julie happened to be the drafter to whom I was sent, and she welcomed me, Representative-elect. She sat me down in her office and listened patiently as I went through this elaborate idea, and then calmly, with a smile on her face, respectfully asked Representative-elect Holbert, are you aware that we already do that here in Colorado? No. I wasn't. My grand idea went poof because someone had already done that. My first year in the Senate, Senator Andy Kerr and I sponsored a bill at the very end of the session to reduce the frequency of assessments in K through 12, House Bill 1323. I had already passed a bill about guaranteeing, enshrining the parents' right to opt out of such assessments, and it passed here with Majority Leader Scheffel and Minority Leader Morgan Carroll, both as prime sponsors, and I think 32 yes votes. It went to the House and was killed in House Education Committee, and then Governor Hickenlooper brought in former Governor Owens and former Governor Romer to have a press conference to rail against my bill. Governor Hickenlooper invited me down to his office after my bill died in the House, and we discussed his parameters on assessments, what he would be willing to support, what he could not support. I thank Governor Hickenlooper for that meeting, and not because of my brilliance, but a bill at the very end of the session, sponsored, I believe, by Representative Millie Hamner and Jim Wilson in the House, and Senator Kerr and I here in the Senate, passed its very last vote on the very last day, and President Cadman and Minority Leader Carroll and Majority Leader Scheffel came here to this mic and praised the effort. I was fined for being out of the chamber because of running back and forth between the House and the Senate trying to negotiate this elaborate bill. Senator Kerr covered for us in Senate Education Committee because I literally fell asleep at the table. It was heralded as a miracle, an incredible outcome. No one thought it could be done. We did that because thousands of parents in Douglas County and in Boulder Valley were emailing us saying, do something. And I thought my prior bill was the answer, but it didn't make it. But for all the leadership in the House and the Senate who came and praised that effort, to Senator Kerr, the former chair of Senate Education and member of House and Senate Education, Andy, if you're listening, thank you. But Senator Kerr and I both know that none of that would have happened. Representative Hamner and Representative Wilson know that none of that would have happened had it not been for the drafter who was here all hours of day and night to make that happen, and that was Julie Pelegrin. I've received praise on some of the bills that I've sponsored, some of the ideas that I've come up with, bills that have gone to the governor to be signed, and so many of them would not have made it, would not have been effective had it not been for Julie Pelegrin. I'm sad that we're leaving at the same time. Reporters asked me a year ago, what's it like being leader and being term limited? I said it was like being handed my pink slip a year early and told, do a good job. That's only after 12 years. 30 years. Julie Pelegrin has brought a level of excellence here that I don't think can be matched. There are so many great people in OLLS. For those listening outside, these are drafters, attorneys who work in a nonpartisan role here in the Capitol, and they have to deal with people who support gun control and people who oppose it, people who support repeal of the death penalty and those of us who oppose it, people who support teachers' unions and those who don't. And Julie Pelegrin is a stellar example of how those experts, those subject matter experts, attorneys who could go outside this building and make vastly more money and have a whole lot more free time and less stress in their lives, but attorneys who care so much about the legislative branch and what we do here and about all sides of the issue, about providing excellent service, support, advice to all of us, the people who are selected by the voters to come here and represent them, Julie, I wish that 6 million people outside of this Capitol could have a looking glass, a crystal ball, to see all of the work that you've done, the volume and the quality, and the support that you've been to all of us. That's not possible, but I know the effect that you've had on me and my work here over the past 12 years. God bless you, and I hope that your future beyond the Capitol is full of joy and rest and less stress than it has been over the past 30 years. Thank you for what you've done for me, for the members of the General Assembly, and for the people of Colorado, especially in the arena of K through 12 public education. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Majority Leader Moreno.
Thank you, Mr. President. I request a moment of personal privilege.
Granted.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, at one point in my legislative career, I actually did serve on the Education Committee in the House in 2015 and 2016, and that's when I was introduced to working very closely with Julie Pelegrin and just getting to witness her intelligence and expertise firsthand. And the senator from Arapahoe County said earlier, often we have a vague idea of what we want to do. In many cases, I submit a bill title and I have no idea what I want to do. And so that's when Julie comes to me and says, "What would you like to do with this bill?" And I say, "I don't know. What do you think I should do?" That's how much I trust her expertise and what she's been able to deliver for students, parents, teachers across this state. Her knowledge, expertise is unmatched, especially in the field of policy and in education. And Julie, it's been a true pleasure to work with you. And I wish you the best in your next endeavor, your next adventure. And I know whoever gets to work with you will be also very fortunate.
Further announcements. Senator Bridges.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just one more time. Julie, thank you.